but God. Nothing matters but love for God. God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusory. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Thanks to beloved Baba and Jai Baba to all of you. Welcome back after 1 week. Last Saturday we were not there. Next Saturday again we won't be there. It being the 1st of January. All right, we are on page number 35 of Intimate Conversations with the Awakener. And the chapter is titled Lost Opportunity. So we should not lose any opportunity. We should learn. All right, go ahead.
Sitting on a large rock by the lake's edge, I was looking out into the depth of the night sky. The water was ever so softly lapping at the shore. The vast, glassy surface of the lake, reflecting the myriad stars above, was perfectly still. Watching this exquisite sight, I experienced a profound sense of peace. Then, a strong breeze began to rustle through the nearby pines. As the wind moved across the lake, waves began to ripple along the surface. The starlit portrait, which had been mirrored with such transparent clarity, was suddenly dashed into patterns of diffused light lost in the waves. As this happened, the peacefulness of my mind also gave way to a frenzy of scattered thoughts. The startling contrast of the two scenes I witnessed left me unsettled. Gradually, the wind calmed down and the water surface again became placid. I heard familiar footsteps behind me, and you came and sat by my side. Though I was happy to see you, instead of greeting you, I exclaimed, "What a beautiful scene you just missed! You came a little late." "I am never late nor early. I always know the right moment," you answered. "You are the perfectionist who conserves his omnipresence only to release it at the opportune moment. But what did I miss? What was it that captivated you so much?" you asked. Feeling a bit confused, I found myself stammering. "Well, I don't know which affected me more. The charming, settled reflections of the stars on the still surface of the lake, or the shimmering of their subsequent diffused patterns. It is hard for me to express." "What do you really wish to convey?" you asked gently. "That's what is difficult. Trying to describe it all only reminds me of one of my most chronic problems. I'm often indecisive and frustrated about how to adequately express myself in words. I try to choose the right words, but I'm hardly ever satisfied. And this seems to result in an uncertainty of actions." You were silent for some moments, then gave me a penetrating, serious look. "Unless and until you sincerely try to detach yourself from the many by which you are surrounded, you cannot become attached to the one in all. In your daily living, you are distracted by that which is impermanent, whether it be the steady or shattered reflections of the stars. And you forget the ever renewing spirit that is ever alive in everything, everywhere. If you try to remember this ever renewing spirit, you will be less likely to be overpowered by the passing events of your daily life. For this, your longing to live in my presence has to be rooted more and more in your awareness of my companionship."
All right. I would like to read it again. Of course, most of it is the scene which the author is
Cyrus, you have become mute.
Even I can hear him. Yeah. Cyrus,
Side.
Am I audible now?
Now
Yes.
it is audible.
I'm sorry.
It's-
I'll read
yeah.
it. I'll read it again. Lost Opportunity is the title of the chapter. Since sitting on a large rock by the lake's edge, I was looking out into the depth of the night sky. He was sitting at the lake watching the sky, the night sky. The water was ever so softly lapping at the shore. The vast glassy surface of the lake, reflecting the myriad stars above, that means multitude, innumerable stars above, was perfectly still. So he was enjoying the bliss, the tranquility, the stillness of the lake in which the stars were reflecting. Watching this exquisite sight, I experienced a profound sense of peace. Then a strong breeze began to rustle through the nearby pines. Pines, we all know, trees. As the wind, a type of trees, okay. As the wind moved across the lake, waves began to ripple along the surface. So when the wind goes, there are ripples in the lake, the surface of the lake. The starlit portrait, which had been mirrored with such transparent clarity, was suddenly dashed into patterns of diffused light. It was all diffused, lost in the waves. As this happened, the peacefulness of my mind also gave way to a frenzy. Frenzy would mean wild activity, uncontrolled activity, a frenzy of scattered thoughts. Now, in my understanding, two absolute opposites of our human. One is a very tranquil, peaceful sight, and the other where there's a lot of frenzied thoughts, where lots of unorganized, very active thoughts. We all go through that oscillation of peace as well as agitation and oscillation. And later on, as Baba says, that these are external things. And if you do not see that oneness of Baba in all these things, you tend to get lost in it, you tend to get affected by it, you tend to be swooned in a sense, sucked into such aspects of external activities. That is how I would read this paragraph. The startling contrast of the two scenes, the peaceful, tranquil, and a lot of activity where there are waves and the light is diffused. The startling, sorry?
Patterns.
Okay, the pattern is diffused. The startling contrast of the two scenes I witnessed left me unsettled. Again, the word here is the external scenario is unsettling us. Once we realize that we have no control over the external, the only control that we have is on us, the internal. And if we realize that all this that is happening on the screen of our consciousness is nothing but an illusion, a bhas, a nothing into a nothing, a dream into a dream. It is there, just be a witness, see it, and don't be affected by it. But here the author says that these contrasting scenes made him unsettled. Gradually, the wind calmed down and the water's surface again became placid. Placid would mean tranquil. There was no wind going, so it again became placid. I heard familiar footsteps behind me, and you came and sat by my side. The author, Bal Natuji, was sitting at the side of a lake, and we know the awakener as Meher Baba. He comes and sits by the side. Though I was happy to see you, instead of greeting you, I exclaimed, "What a beautiful scene! You just missed. You came a little late." Many times we say, oh, had you been a little early, you would have witnessed this. But that is all, in a sense, a talk in vain for the simple reason that it did not happen, it was not meant to be. Baba says, I am never late nor early. I always know the right moment. You answered. So everything happens at the right time, at the appointed time. We may have our own calculations of timings as to, oh, this should have been a little earlier, this should have been a little later. But Baba says everything is in perfect order and everything is perfectly timed. You are the perfectionist who conserves his omnipresence only to release it at the opportune moment. This again is a very beautiful sentence. This means Baba's omnipresence is always there everywhere. It is only when he chooses to release his presence to any of us at that time we are able to perceive his presence. Otherwise, his omnipresence, that means he is everywhere, it is perennial, it is always there. If we are not able to access, to get into and see and feel his presence, it is in a sense our shortcoming that we are more inclined towards I, my, me, and mine. We have not yet cultivated the art of seeing his omnipresence in everyone and everything. You are the perfectionist who conserves his omnipresence only to release it at the appropriate moment. Now, Baba says, as usual, innocently, as if he's not knowing, but what did I miss? What was that? What was it that captivated you so much, that charmed you so much, that you are so happy about? What was it that captivated you so much? You asked. Feeling a bit confused, I found myself stammering. Well, I don't know which affected me more, the charming, settled reflections of the stars on the still surface of the lake, or the shimmering would mean sparkling, the shimmering of their subsequent diffused patterns. It is hard for me to express. What do you really wish to convey? You ask gently. In Hindi, when people talk this gold jalebi language, we call it jalebi language. Are bhai कहना क्या चाहते हो? We ask. Means when people are unsure, they will talk this, they will talk that. So Baba is asking again the same thing. But what do you really wish to convey? You ask gently. That's what is difficult. Trying to describe it all only reminds me of one of my most chronic problems. I am often indecisive and frustrated about how to adequately express myself in words. I try to choose the right words, but I am hardly ever satisfied. I try to choose the right words, but I am hardly ever satisfied. For those who are speakers, for those who talk, those who speak, and even for anything, for that matter, anything, after having done many times, many people feel we could have done it better. Means, oh, I wanted to use this word, but it just didn't come. And you ask a dancer, you ask a singer, you ask a speaker. Generally, the experience has been, at least I have experienced that, oh, I could have spoken a little better. So he's saying the same thing, that I really don't know. I try to choose the right words, but I am hardly ever satisfied. In a sense, the day we are satisfied, perhaps you stop growing, because then you feel, oh, you arrived, you reached, you are the best, you know everything, something like that. That feeling of incompleteness should be there in order for us to try to do better and better. And this seems to result in an uncertainty of actions. Because I am not able to place proper words, use proper words, the action also becomes very uncertain. You read this. No? You were silent for some moments, then gave me a penetrating, serious look. This is important. Unless and until you sincerely try to detach yourself from the many, because we are seeing so many things happening around us, and we get caught into that, we get sucked into that, we get unsettled because of that. So Baba says, unless and until you sincerely try to detach yourself from the many by which you are surrounded, you cannot become attached to the one in all. In other words, again, we've been doing this again and again, that we get so attracted, distracted, attached, affected by all the things around us that we fail to see the one in all these things, and that one is Baba. I'll repeat this beautiful sentence. Unless and until you sincerely try to detach yourself from the many is in italics, by which you are surrounded, you cannot become attached to the one in all. In your daily living, you are distracted by that which is impermanent. There is something called permanent, there is something called impermanent. There is something called real, there is something called unreal. You see, so we get very much distracted by that which is impermanent, that which is passing show, that which is transient. It is there today, it is not there tomorrow, but we get distracted with that. In your daily living, you are distracted by that which is impermanent, whether it be the steady or shattered reflections of the stars. So Baba is trying to convey that the steady reflection of the stars in the lake is also impermanent, and the shattered reflections of the stars in the lake because of the waves, because of the forming of the waves due to the winds, is also impermanent. Do not be attached to it, do not be distracted to it. In all these, try to find and search for the one which is in all this, the one in the many, which obviously is Baba. And you forget the ever renewing spirit that is ever alive in everything, everywhere. There is an ever renewing spirit of the Lord, of Baba, which is always there in everything, everywhere. And you forget to see that, but you only see the periphery, the superfluous, the packaging, as you say, and you get distracted by that. If you try to remember this ever renewing spirit, you will be less likely to be overpowered by the passing events of your daily life. Again, the message is, do not be overpowered by the passing events of your daily life. Do not be attracted, distracted, unsettled, perturbed, disturbed, agitated, irritated by all the things that are passing around in your life, because all these things are impermanent. If you try to remember this ever renewing spirit, you will be less likely to be overpowered by the passing events of your daily life. For this, your longing to live in my presence has to be rooted more and more in your awareness of my companionship. In other words, our awareness of Baba's companionship should be so fine-tuned that at every moment we feel his presence within us, around us, so that it forms like a shield, so that we are not overpowered by things around us. I'll repeat the last sentence. For this, your longing to live in my presence has to be rooted more and more in your awareness of my companionship.
The loving words deeply touched my heart. Seeing this, you looked pleased and continued. When you think that no one sees you, I, the one, am diligently watching you. When you feel that no one hears you, I, the one, am listening intently to you. Because you are mine, I am the one who is most intimately concerned about you. How long we talked after that and what diverse subjects we covered, I don't remember. But gradually, I became aware that the crescent moon had risen high in the sky. The still surface of the water reflected the beauty of the crescent rising overhead. As before, I became deeply engrossed in the splendor of this vision, and my attention was totally diverted from you, the full moon, sitting by my side.
See, this is what happens.
Alice,
Yes,
I have a question for the paragraph which you previously explained.
please go
On
ahead.
23rd of December,
Haji.
Baba's message in the calendar is to some extent pertaining to what you have been saying.
Okay,
I'll just read and
Please
then
read.
I want some answer from you.
please read.
Do not lose heart, but keep me in your heart.
And I am always.
And remember, I'm always with you. Okay. Now the next. I want you to remain undisturbed and unshaken by the force of life's currents. For whatever the circumstances,
They too.
they too will be of my own creation.
Correct.
At present, my family is undergoing a lot of problems because of Corona. So many of them are affected. There is a wedding in the family. The bride's mother is in the hospital because of this Corona. I don't know whether it is Omicron or what. So, everybody is agitated. And when we try to tell, don't worry, these are all passing phase. Are to jena par pare te jane, why you are, so how do we, apne to samajhiya ke jane, it is Baba's creation, whether good or bad, and it is all passing. They also know, but how to make them realize that please be patient and all. It is very difficult, So what is your take on it? To keep quiet is also not good, because my sister, my nephew, my nieces, they will feel, what is this, Aman Masi? So just let me know how to deal with this problem. And we are facing it so badly. I just took out some time for you, for Baba, so that I can get something to tell them, And tomorrow is an engagement. And third is the wedding. And the mother and the grandmother both are caught in this COVID. So it's a very dicey circumstances. Tell me something assuring.
There is a nice statement which we always repeat here. I will replace the word God by Baba. Baba, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the strength to
courage to change
the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There is only that much you can do if you have to do something for somebody. So obviously, you need not be callous and say, oh, this is nothing. Sometimes we have to play up to the gallery, so to speak, by telling them that, yes, we do empathize, but is there any other way to do? All that you can do is just pray to your God. If they don't believe in Baba, pray to God and say that take us through. And see, the point is how, I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little heartless, how lopsided. Now, there is a marriage in the family. I do agree that it's a great thing. But can it not be postponed? Is it such a difficult thing to postpone a marriage? I'm just saying.
Canada થી આયા લગન કરવા.
Whatever it is. See, it all depends upon our own nazariya, how we perceive things. I do agree that only the wearer knows where the shoe pinches. I agree that all that I know. But still, what is the way out? Either you go through this turmoil and suffer, or you resign and surrender to God's will and say, Baba, you take care, whatever it is, we are okay with that. At the most, what the why don't you say? I don't remember. Because see, we are talking on a very personal one-to-one note, but there's a certain limit up to which you can try to cajole somebody, you can try to make somebody understand. Beyond that, you just cannot do. So you leave it to them. You just leave them as they are. The only thing is, if I were in the place, in your place, I would say, yes, I do empathize that this is happening, but what else to say? And in such a mental makeup, if we try to philosophize things, it will definitely not enter through the right hole. Try to understand. So what we can do is just say a little bit, and just show your helplessness in being able to help them and leave it to God and then see what happens. Soumya was saying that. I don't know.
This happened during Baba's physical ministry. In Navsari, Baba had a lover called Soma Desai, and his niece was getting, Soma Desai's niece was getting.
That's a different thing.
But the marriage went on. You're saying don't know. So the marriage went on, though he was dying over there.
Okay.
So the bottom line is that whatever is slated, let it happen. I mean, yes.
No, but somebody is in the hospital.
Yeah, so let the marriage.
See, if you ask me for a solution, there is no solution. Just let the things go as they are. That's all. And we have to face it. There are times, there are times of wars, there are times of extreme sickness, there are times of so many turmoils in our life. What do? We just surrender to the Lord and say, okay, as you wish. That's about all. There is nothing you can do about it, na? And definitely not to talk about philosophy and all that, because it will definitely not be accepted. Yeah, it will be taken as very heartless. You are so heartless. You're talking
but then, but what I feel that, yes, they are not believers in Baba. I mean, they are not abusing or anything, but they don't follow as we do, as my family does. So, sometimes the question arises, how can all these things happen? And if we say karma na bhog na emne tem karva besiye.
No.
This is not the time.
If I were you, I would, sorry for using this word, but I would pretend to empathize with them to a certain extent and then say, well, we are helpless in the hands of the Lord. The only best thing, I would say, is to take God's name and say, you do whatever is best for us. That's all. And leave it at that. And accept whatever comes through. Because it is not the end of the world, you see. A marriage being postponed or somebody coming from Canada, it's not something that is such a big, momentous decision. So nothing of that sort.
So Baba says, I'm everywhere. So he is in this particular pandemic also?
Obviously. The pandemic cannot exist without his existence. Baba is existence personified, so to speak. So to speak, Baba says that I am the being of all beings. So there is no question of Baba not being present in the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. Ram Nori has a question, or maybe he wants to share.
No question. I was so jittered.
Baba, I fully empathize with you, and this is not acting, and this is not a pretense. That sometimes we are caught up in such a situation where the only best thing to do is to just pray for them, and give them the strength to go through all these things. That's all. Beyond that, what can you see? There are certain things you can't do anything beyond that. We cannot play God every time, everywhere.
No, but one thing I just wanted to know, that he is there in good or bad or worse, wherever the situation is.
Correct. That is undoubtedly. Baba says, I am the being of all beings. That is, anything that is has to have his essence, his essence or his beingness into it. You got it? So
Whether
definitely
good or bad.
anything, let it be the worst. And if there is any English word called worstest, let it be in that also. There's nothing besides it. Yeah, yeah. All right. Ram has something to maybe contribute to this. Yes, Ram?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few things. One, I agree with what you said. If somebody is not a Baba person, I won't just give them, but the Baba philosophy. I won't even, discuss.
Hmm.
And second thing is, whatever one can do is extend their, support. That's all. Nothing more and nothing less.
Right.
And as far as the marriage is concerned, if they still have to have it, just get it done in at a registrar's office, and then you can have all your ceremonies later on.
Right.
Because
Right.
lakhs of people are dying. It is something like a war zone,
Yeah, what can you do about it?
I know.
Well, see, I would look, now I am philosophizing, please. One could look at it at this way, that I am affected with whatever you call it, Omicron, let's say. And doctors say, chalo, only 3 days left or 6 days left. Any which way, we all are going to drop this physical form, the vehicle, any which way. We should always look at everything positively. Oh my, how, wow, wonderful, beautiful, that I have got 6 more days to go. And in 6 days, I am going. Going where? Going to Baba. So why can't I use those 6 days maximum to remember Baba, maximum to tie up loose ends? But that kind of maturity or
Yeah.
spiritual thinking may not be there in everyone, you see. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody has to go. Now you are saying thousands of people are dying. Yes, they are dying. But it is so fortunate that they know they are going to die, and they should take maximum advantage of this prior information that they are going to die in a couple of days' time. It's a blessing. It's a blessing beyond our understanding that we know. Now today we do not know. We are hale and hearty. Next moment something, we are off. So there's no warning. But if there's a warning that you are going to be, so we call it do din ka mehman, then we know, oh, wow, you should look at it as, wow, I know now I'm going back to a better place, going back to my Lord, going back to merge into the ocean as one. But that we can only do if we have this kind of a spiritual backing and spiritual maturity. And we remember to remember him when we are breathing our last. Keep on remembering. Now I am digressing a little bit. Let us see. First, we'll do the reading, and then if I have the time, because Soumya referred to Soma Desai, so I'll talk about that, and maybe 1 or 2 more instances where Baba has himself told those people, forget about everything, forget about the world, don't be stressed about anything, just keep remembering me and repeating my name. Baba knew that the person is going in a day's time or 2 days' time. How fortunate! How fortunate! Yeah, I'll talk to you about that. So now, where were we?
Yeah, you may continue with your.
Kabir,
Sorry to disturb you in between.
No. Please never ever think like that. Not at all. If you don't, thank you. I was just going to say, if you don't mute your mic, then you'll be disturbing. Otherwise, no. But you muted. Your loving words deeply touched my heart. Seeing this, you look pleased and continued. When you think that no one sees you, I, the one, am diligently watching you. Baba is always diligently watching us. We do not know, but he does. When you feel that no one hears you, I, the one, am listening intently to you. As as in one of the dohas, I think it was there, that even if a gungri is that, what is it called? Bell, small bell, which is tied, dancing, the dancers wear those bells. So even if it is tied in one of the feet of an ant, even that the Lord hears. So would he not hear us? It's like that. I, the one, am listening intently to you because you are mine. And this applies, I would be pompous enough to say, to all of us, because we have come in Baba's fold, we have become his, and now it is his responsibility to take care of our well-being insofar as the spiritual aspect is concerned. Because you are mine, I am the one who is most intimately concerned about you. How long we talked after that and what diverse subjects we covered, I don't remember. But gradually, I became aware that the crescent moon had risen high in the sky. How we get distracted by things which are, in a sense, superfluous, unimportant, impermanent, as compared to Baba, who is sitting right next to me. He is most important. But instead of that, we get distracted by the moon and the sun and the stars and all that. The still surface of the water reflected the beauty of the crescent rising overhead. Crescent would mean the moon rising overhead. As before, see now here how the distraction takes place. As before, I became deeply engrossed in the splendor of this vision, and my attention was totally diverted from you, the full moon sitting by my side. The full moon is sitting by my side, and my attention is
Crescent.
diverted to the crescent which is rising. It happens, and it happens to all of us so many times in a day when we are trying to focus on Baba. Some insignificant thought will just take us, Gali Gucci, we say it, it will just take us to some lane and we get lost. And then we realize, oh, I was thinking about Baba, or I was remembering, whatever it is. But that is, I think, that is perfectly okay as long as we remind ourselves that we have forgotten him. The more we remind ourselves of what we have forgotten, it is indirectly remembering him. I would like to think it that way. Some moments later,
I realized my mistake. But as I turned to you, I found you were gone. I felt bitterly ashamed, but it was too late. In your presence, the slightest distraction is a lost opportunity.
see, he was distracted in the crescent while the full moon is sitting next to him. And the moment he saw that in that direction, Baba has gone. So the moment our distraction is there, he's not there. And then that is how he plays the game of coming and going, coming and going. So very beautifully, here he says, I felt bitterly ashamed, but it was too late because he's already gone. In your presence, the slightest distraction is a lost opportunity. That is why when Baba was physically present and giving darshan at Guru Prasad and other places, there were many people who would not understand the language. There were many people who would be sitting very far off and may not know what's happening in the front. Baba would simply say, just look at my face. Just don't bother about what is going on and all that. Just keep looking at my face. And that is what people would normally do. The function will be going on. So we are not expected to get lost in the bhajan or the whatever, the skit or whatever it is. Keep our focus on Baba.
Yet, in spite of such failures, you continue to bless me with your visits. What an unconditional compassion you have. In these visits, your radiant presence fills my being with indescribable raptures. Your loving words are carved into my heart, but how quickly they seem to fade. As I gazed at the clear lake, the reflections of the stars and the crescent no longer held any charm for me. Instead, tears of repentance welled in my eyes. They awakened in me an intense, deep longing for your next visit. When shall that be? You alone know.
All right. So here, I think Mayor has something to ask. Mayor, go ahead.
Cyrus uncle, I'll ring you up and this thing, read it out to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I need some help of some words.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. In your presence, The slightest distraction is a lost opportunity. Yet, in spite of such failures, you continue to bless me with your visits. See, this is my take, that failures are in fact stepping stones to success. There is no such thing as mistake, because every mistake teaches us something or the other. If at all you call anything a mistake, it is that mistake from which we have failed to learn something. So mistakes, one should never be afraid of mistakes. One should never be afraid of failures, because they are like springboards. They are like, stepping stones, as we say, to the success. So you continue to bless me with your visits in spite of, in all these chapters that we have done earlier also, we are seeing that the author is coming up with one after the other weaknesses, attachments, shortcomings, all kinds of what you can say is shortcomings, and Baba is so beautifully channelizing his viewpoints, and that is, of course, for us as well, so that we learn and grow. What an unconditional compassion you have. The compassion is unconditional. He never says that, oh, I have told you so many times that you don't listen, you always forget, so I'm not going to come to you, or I'm not going to help you, or I'm not going to love you. Nothing of that sort. The compassion is unconditional, and it is infinite. Infinite mistakes we make, infinite number of times he will come and uplift us, uphold us, pull us up to him. Your radiant presence fills my being with indescribable raptures. Raptures is extreme joy, happiness. Your loving words are carved into my heart, but how quickly they seem to fade. Again, a very, very common experience with most of us, if not all of us, is that we take a resolution, we feel that, oh, this is, Baba has touched my heart, now I will not do this, or I will continue to do this. But in a very short time, we feel that we are again going in our sanskaric way. That means what sanskaras are made up or has made us. But that keeps on happening. And again, in my understanding, that is the way to growth. Pull and push, pull and push. We make mistakes, we fall at his feet, he pardons us, then we stand up, again we fall, again we fall at his feet and ask his pardon again. So this keeps on happening, and that is the way we all move forward. As I gazed at the clear lake, now again he's gazing at the clear lake, the reflections of the stars and the crescent no longer held any charm for me, because there was a sense of regret, there was a sense of guilt, there was a sense of having failed the Lord, because instead of paying attention to him, we were paying attention to the crescent. So now it no longer charmed him. In other words, there's a nice sentence in discourses: the mood of the perceiver invests the perception with its own coloring. I repeat, the mood of the perceiver invests the perception with its own coloring. In other words, if I am in a happy mood, a joyful mood, a clear mood, then everything seems nice to me. But if my mood is spoiled for whatever reason, then even the best of the things will not show that much of beauty and flavor. So here, the same gentleman a few minutes back was enchanted by all these scenes of, reflections of the stars and the crescent and creation and all that. But now the same scenario, the same surrounding no longer charms him. That means nothing has changed on the outside, but much has changed in the inside. And therefore, it is the inside which gives us the, whatever you call it, the sight of seeing the outside. So here, as I gazed at the clear lake, the reflections of the stars and the crescent, same stars, same crescent, same lake, same gentleman, everything is same, but it no longer charms me. Instead, tears of repentance welled in my eyes. The repentance again is a very extremely powerful tool of coming closer to Baba. And Baba uses that very often with people, when we make mistakes, we falter, we fall, we sin, we do whatever, and we are repentive. When we are repentive, Baba prakats, manifests himself and says, don't worry, you are forgiven. Don't do it again. Do no more. And then again and again this happens. So repentance again is a very important tool of invoking Baba's presence and Baba's blessings. Instead, tears of repentance welled in my eyes. They awakened in me an intense, deep longing for your next visit. See, that is how the game of love is played, pushing and pulling. When shall that be? You alone know. So here ends the chapter, Lost Opportunity. Anybody has anything to say, ask, share? Nothing. Okay, we still have a lot of time. I'll see how much, otherwise Soumya will. Yes, I know. All right. Now, this is an episode which I remember having heard again and again. I say when we talk about episodes and instances, there may be a little up down in the narration. I'll just give you a background. There was a gentleman by the name Sorabji Manchesa Desai, Soma Desai for short. He was a Gujarati scholar. He lived in Navsari, and Baba contacted him way early in 1922 to help Baba in editing the Gujarati biography of Upasni Maharaj by the name Sakorina Sadguru. This was actually written by Beli Irani, who was Baba's Mandali at that time. And Baba wanted it published, Baba wanted it polished, so to speak. And so it was sent to Soma Desai. Again, I say this is what I remember. And Sorabji was a very renowned scholar in Gujarati. And he was given this book for editing, for looking into it and making grammatical corrections, etc. And Beli was asked to say that Meher Baba has sent me to you. And Sorabji had never heard the name of Meher Baba, so he just, in a sense, discards the request and throws away the book, so to speak. It's not that he throws away. He says, no, I have got nothing to do with your Meher Baba and all that, so please go away. So he goes back. It happens like this about 2-3 times, till finally Baba sends Beli, Baba tells Beli to tell him that you only will be able to do it because you are the best person to do this job. And then Baba uses the word, he says that Huma has sent this for you. So Huma, huh? No, but that was before that. No, not the Ghazal. So Huma has asked you to do it. When Sorabji used the word Huma, he was a little taken aback. Now Huma, we all know, was the pen name of Baba, and he used to write beautiful ghazals and articles in the Gujarati newspapers of that time, Kaisar Hind and what is it? What is it? Sanj Vartaman. Yeah. And Sorabji used to really marvel at the profundity and the language of the author, which is Huma. But he never knew who Huma was. And then Beli said, when Huma, then who is this Huma? So he said, Huma and Meher Baba are the same. So then he takes up the work for editing, and that is how he comes closer to Baba. And he comes so much close to Baba that the entire family was dedicated to Baba. We all know Mansari, who used to be Baba's Samadhi's caretaker, who lived on the Meherabad hill and who had instructions not to leave the hill, not to leave it for any reason except for medical reasons or for any issues connected with her dogs. If they got sick, then she can leave the place, the Meherabad hill. I'm just giving a reference to how close that family came to Baba. Now in Sorabji's family, Saurabhji is one uncle, and there's another gentleman, and the son of one gentleman and the daughter of another gentleman, they were going to get married. In short, Minoche Desai, we also call him Lieutenant Colonel Desai, M, uh, Minoche Desai, Minu Desai. He was one of our trustees of the Bombay Center. He was to get married to Bapai. Bapai was the other Minoche's, what should I say, cousin. Two cousins were getting married. So they had asked Baba to bless the occasion and to fix the date for marriage. So marriage date was fixed. Because we are talking about the marriage, I'm just saying. The marriage date was fixed. Now, after the fixing of the date and after the fixing of the date, let's say Saurabhji's health deteriorated. He was sick. And so Baba was, at that time, they used to send telegrams, you know. So Baba was sent a telegram that Saurabhji's health is not good. Should we change the date? Should we postpone it or prepone it or whatever? I'm not very sure about that postponement, preponement. So Baba said, no, keep the date as it is. And then as the days came closer and closer, Saurabhji's health further deteriorated. And again, the telegram was sent that this is, and doctors are saying that it is rather serious and that you should call all the people to meet Saurabhji because now it's a matter of a few days, you know. Again, Baba sent the same telegram, keep the date. And then he said that I am coming to the wedding. I'm coming to witness the wedding. Then one night before the wedding, he was so serious that that the doctor said that tonight he may not even survive. But then morning came and Baba came with the mandali, a few of the mandali, and immediately Saurabhji was more or less like in coma. You see, more or less. He was not moving, he was not eating, he was not conscious for a couple of days before, 3 to 4 days before the marriage date. You see, and the moment what the diarist write, the moment Baba enters the room, Saurabhji opens his eyes and he tries to sit up on his own effort after 2-3 days of remaining into sort of semi-conscious coma kind of thing. Immediately Baba touches both his shoulders. Aban, your mic is on, dear. Baba touches the shoulders of Saurabhji and makes him lie down on the bed and then tells him, I have come. Don't worry about anything. Now you don't even think about anything. Just think about me and keep repeating my name. That's what Baba advises Soma Desai. And then, of course, Baba comes out of the room and tells the people that let the celebration go on. Let the marriage ceremony go on. So here the marriage is going on. And inside the room, from inside the room, sobs, you know, crying is heard because, so I'm sorry, not that time. Sorry, I'm very sorry. You know, so here this is happening over there. Now, after the marriage, the couple comes, that is Minu Desai, Minoche Desai, and Bapai, and takes Baba's darshan. And then Baba says, go fast, take the darshan of Saurabhji, means go and meet Saurabhji. So Saurabhji opens his eyes, he clasps both the hands like this, and then drops his body at that time. And immediately then Baba is of course there. Baba says, do not announce this death now to the public. You enjoy, you have your feast, whatever it is, and after the whole thing is over, then you can make the announcement. So then Baba and the Mandali goes back to wherever they came from. So this is the story, this is the episode that I remember. And then, because as I said, I know Minoche Desai, I know Minoche's daughter, who was Dr. Meher Desai. She's no more now. She used to stay at Kolaba. So one fine day, Soumya and we visited her because she had invited us, she had called us. So we went to see her. She was not feeling too well. And I had heard this story. So I said, Meher, I would like to narrate this story which I heard from somewhere. I don't remember whether it was Minoche himself or in some diary or somewhere or the other. So when I narrated the whole episode, she said, yes, so far what you said is quite correct, because that is what I was told by my father. That means the parents were getting married. So it was like right from the horse's mouth. That is correct. But there is one important thing which you forgot. And I said, what is that? And that is what she tells, that a little after the parents, that means Minu and Mapai, went to Baba to pay their respects and to also thank him for taking care of Saurabhji, so that the situation was saved, the marriage was saved, Otherwise, they would have had to postpone it or whatever. At that time, Baba indicates to Minoche in Gujarati, I will tell it in English, Saurabhji no patang 4 dara palle kapai gayelo, but मैं माजो पकड़ी राख्यो. In other words, what Baba told Minoche was Saurabhji's kite was cut 4 days before only. That means what the doctor said was correct, that he will not survive. He's about to pass over. It was I who held on to the string. Saurabhji's kite was cut 4 days before the marriage, but it was I who held on to the string. So that was a very profound statement which we did not know till Meher told us these things. So having said this, we still have about 4 minutes to go. Yes, Aman, Aman wanted to ask something? No. Aman, did you get what I was saying? But of course, that is Baba. That is Baba's and Baba's disciples.
This is the second time I have heard the story.
Yeah. So
because I was wondering, there was one instance where Baba had said,
same.
Yeah. But if I want to know one thing, since you have put the question, last time you said that Baba used to have certain sentences for all the masters, perfect masters. For example, Hazrat Baba Jan, Emperor of Universe. Then Tajuddin Baba, Baba Jan said he was the knowledge I had with him.
Okay, I don't remember having said it, but go ahead.
Upasani Maharaj ne mate, what did Baba have to say?
See, Umasdi Maharaj was the king of yogis, he had said once, and he was knowledge personified. In fact, Meher Baba as Meherwan got knowledge from Upasdi Maharaj, infinite knowledge from Upasdi Maharaj,
yes.
Infinite bliss from Hazrat Babajan, and yes. Infinite power from Shirdi Sai Baba. Yeah. But I don't remember having said anything to that.
Because he had said about Sai Baba was the Kutub-e-Irshad, highest of the high, head of the 5 perfect masters. I've written it down as you were saying.
Yes, I agree with you.
Sai Baba was perfection himself.
Every
Even the sand on which he stood became gold. I Upasni Maharaj nu main nahi kahi bhi lakhi saki. I don't know how.
Yeah, never mind.
He was the yogi of yogi, king of
the yogis. And about Shirdi Sai Baba, he was the Kutub-e-Irshad, which means the head of not only the 5 perfect masters, but also of the entire spiritual hierarchy. He was the head. And it is only during the time of the avatar, when avatar takes over the charge, then he goes a notch above the Kutub-e-Irshad, and he is called the Sahib-e-Zaman. He is called the Sahib-e-Zaman, and he takes charge of the entire spiritual hierarchy. Got it, Aman?
But who is Zaman? Who Sahib-e-Zaman?
Sahib-e-Zaman is the avatar. The avatar.
Meher Baba.
Yes, correct. At any given, after between 700 to 1400 years, when the avatar takes the advent, at that time he takes charge from the Kutub-e-Irshad of that particular time, and he is known as the Sahib-e-Zaman.
And they step back, those 5 masters.
Not the question of stepping back. They will drop their bodies at their appointed time. And when they drop their bodies, obviously there will be another 5 perfect masters, which we do not know, which Baba never disclosed. So we do not know. But when the avatar is there, he lays out a plan, a sort of plan for the few thousand years, and the perfect masters are the executors of those plans. That is what I have been given to understand, that the main planning of how the entire creation will move from X time zone to whatever, say 700 years from now or 1000 years from now, is laid out in a sort of a drawing board form.
Yeah.
And then in the formative world, it will get translated or manifested, and which will be the job of the perfect masters of those times. They are like executive directors of the chief person who has drawn out the plan.
Nice.
That is how I understand.
So perfect masters are already there when avatar is getting
Always
born.
there. There are always 5 perfect masters. Baba says
Thank you
that
very
at
much.
any given point in time, there are 56 God realized souls, of which 5 are called perfect masters, and they are perfection personified. They are absolute. Like worshipping them is much higher than worshipping God. It's like that.
Oh.
Yes. Baba had himself said that Baba had himself said that if there is Zarathustra and Ahura Mazda, then Zarathustra is the one who is supposed to be worshipped. If there is, let's say Muhammad Paigambar Sahib and Allah, then Muhammad is to be, because they are the ones who are perfection personified. The others,
And maybe because they are the ones who have come for the humanity's progress.
yeah, correct.
That must be the reason.
Correct.
Anyway, thank you very
Right.
much. It was
So
nice.
thank you, Baba. Thanks to all of you. Next Saturday is the 1st of January 2022. May Baba bless us all abundantly so that we remember him, so that we love him, so that we follow his path, and above all, we please him. Amin. Avatar, Baba, Jai Baba. Thank
Happy
you,
New
Baba.
Year to all of you.
Jai Baba. Happy New Year to all of you. Jai Baba.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Jai Baba. Happy New Year.
Jai Baba.
Everyone. Thank you, Cyrus.
Jai Baba. Jai
Happy New
Baba.
Year, everyone.
Jai Baba.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.